Hello everybody, this is Alessandra. Welcome to my home, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making pastiera. Pastiera is also called pizza di grano, wheat pie. It's a traditional Neapolitan dessert that we have for Easter. This is a very special recipe for me because I miss Italy so very much, and you know what? We need to do this to keep the traditions going. My kids love pastiera, and my kids' friends all love pastiera. I'll have a funny story, but I'll tell you that later. So, you ever wrote the ingredients? Don't get overwhelmed. I break it up, and I'll make it really simple. The first thing we need to do, let's talk about the wheat berries, the shelled wheat. You see, I buy it that it's shelled, and I will cook it myself. That's what it looks like. Looks almost like a barley, but it's not barley. It's shelled wheat. We're lucky that it's shelled already, so we don't need to soak it for 3 days. It cooks rather fast, and this is what we're going to do. I have 10 ounces of the wheat berries, and I'm going to cook it with water. I'm going to use about 2 quarts of water, and we'll do that together. And then once it's cooked, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and a cup of milk. But when I boil the wheat berries, I will be adding a cinnamon stick and 4 cloves. You could put the cloves in a cheese bag. What I use, this lovely little monkey that's for your for loose tea, but it works great with the spices, so then you don't have to pick out of them. So that's for the wheat berries. Then you're gonna need to make a crust. The crust is, again, pasta frolla. It's in Italian. This is an Italian recipe, and it works all the time, and I hope it works today too. Sometimes I hate to jinx myself. So 4 cups of flour. It should measure 500 grams. So if you have a scale, please use the scale. If you don't have a scale and you're measuring, move the flour a little bit, loosen it up so it's not compacted. Otherwise, you're ending up with so much more flour, and then the measurements are off. Anyway, 4 cups of flour. I have a cup of sugar, 3 eggs, and 2 sticks of butter equaling 8 ounces. Yes. And then the zest of an orange and a pinch of salt always. Now let's move on with the actual ingredients. So what we're going to be using is the cooked wheat. I have here 30 ounces of ricotta, which are 2 of the small containers. Do you want to use a medium container, which is 2 pounds? That's great too. 10 eggs. Don't get scared. 3½ cups of sugar. I know it's a very sweet dessert. It needs to sit, and it needs the extra sugar. The zest of a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of vanilla, and now I want to talk about the flavor that goes in it. It's called Fior d'Arancio. You will be able to find it in Italian specialty stores. You could order it on Amazon. This is a liquid form. These are oils. The oils are stronger, so maybe you could use 1 vial, or if you like stronger tasting, you could use 2 vials. If you're using the liquid form, use 2 to 3 teaspoons. That's really up to you. Mix it in, taste it, and see if you like it a little stronger. That's it. So let's get started. The first thing, now, little note. What I do the day before I'm actually going to make the pastiera is I make my crust, my pasta frolla, and let it sit in the fridge overnight. And I also cook my wheat because it needs to cook, and it needs to let the glutens come out and absorb the milk and become very creamy. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's get the wheat cooked. I washed the wheat, 8 cups of water. Take a look now. I'm going to add the cinnamon stick, the salt, and the cloves are going to go in my little monkey. And again, a cheesecloth could work fine, or a little veil. Sometimes I remember my nonna would save the veils from the bomboniere, and then they were used for things like this. So here it is. It's all sealed, and it goes in. Now, let's bring it to a boil. Lower your flame, put a lid on it, and let it cook for a good hour, and then we'll check back. Now, while that's cooking, let's move to the table. Let's make the pasta frolla. here for the pasta frolla. So I'm in a bowl. I'm gonna add the flour, the sugar, and a quarter teaspoon of salt brings out the flavors. Okay, now I'm going to zest the orange. The 3 eggs go in, and now the butter. Okay, there it goes. Now I'm going to keep one hand, just with one hand, I'm going to start mixing it. If the measurements are correct, believe me, you should not have a problem. If you're not weighing if they're incorrect, then you're going to have too much flour and the dough might be a little hard. If it's a sticky dough, you could just slightly add a little bit of flour, but you're going to feel it with your hands. Again, the 500 grams are perfect with the measurements. You'll see. It's not a dough that needs to be overworked. But I want to tell you, as I'm doing this, I want to tell you a little story. So about 10 years ago, I had made 20 pastiere, and I usually deliver them to friends and family. And I was on my way out. I was gone for the day delivering them, and I had some left home. And usually I have a list who gets them. So always a tight number because there's just so many people and just me making them. So anyway, so my daughter calls me very upset, and I'm on the road, and she says, "Ma, I gotta tell you something terrible happened. And my heart is racing. I'm so scared." I'm like, "Sora, what happened? Is everything okay? Are you fine?" Like all the stuff. She goes, "Yeah, but you can't be mad at me. You can't be mad at me." I said, "Sora, che successo?" She goes, "Ma, my friends and I ate a whole pastiera, so it's gone." I was, as much as I wanted to be mad, I was so relieved that it was nothing bad that happened. So hope when she sees the video, and you know, Soraya's friends, who you are that ate that pastiera that day. Just to show you how everybody just loves this dessert. Okay, now I'm going to move it to a lightly floured work surface just to get it all combined. Deve fare la faccia, like I say with all my doughs. Plus, I love the part of kneading it. Okay? Be gentle with it. You don't want it to get hard. It just needs to be all well combined. All right? It's done. Ecco qua. Come close. I want to show you how soft it is. See? It's a butter dough. Nice and soft. Wonderful. Now I'm going to cover it in saran wrap and in the fridge till I need it. Again, do it the day before. It takes a lot of the work the day you're making the pastiera. So there it goes to cool down. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Move closer. I want to show you. See the wheat? It opened up beautifully, and that means it's fully cooked. Now what you're going to do is you're going to higher your flame, and you're going to just stay right here. Okay, you higher your flame, add your sugar, the butter, okay, and the 1 cup of milk, and you're gonna stay right here for the next, I'm gonna say 15 minutes, and you're gonna be stirring it, because what you're doing now with the lid off on high heat, you're gonna keep stirring it, the water evaporates, the starch from the wheat with the milk is going to create like a cream, and it's got the butter and it's got the sugar, but if you walk away, you're going to burn everything. So I'm sorry, but you need to stay right here and keep stirring. I'm going to show you as it picks up boil how quick it goes and how creamy it's going to get. Okay, see how it's boiling? Just keep giving it a stir. This is a perfect time to get on Facebook so you could cook and do something relaxing at the same time. So you give it a good stir, and you just wait right here and let it boil. And also, I want to talk about it. You could buy the cooked wheat already in jars. It comes from Italy, but you still need to do the process of adding the milk and the sugar and a little butter. So why not cook it from scratch? It just really makes it simple. And you could get shelled wheat almost anywhere. Even in your Middle Eastern stores will sell the shelled wheat. Lower your flame a little bit once you see that it's thickening up and the water's evaporating. Beautiful and creamy. It's ready now. Okay. Now it's time to remove the cinnamon stick. I gotta be careful, it's very hot. And also the little monkey. So let's do that now. What you're going to do with this is you're going to let it cool down, cover it, and put it in the fridge till tomorrow when we're ready to make the pastiere. On 350, take a look at the wheat, how it's cooked beautifully and creamy. This has been sitting overnight, and that's exactly how you want it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to cream the ricotta with the sugar. Just a couple minutes, now the eggs go in. Don't overbeat it once you add the eggs, because if you make the eggs very light and frothy, what happens is when you put the strips on, they will sink. And the reason why I know that, because I've done it. You know, one day I'm like, oh, it's too many, let me get it in the KitchenAid. And sure enough, I had it going very high speed, and the eggs got very frothy. And then of course, as they cook, they go even further up, and all the strips fell. So learn from my mistakes. So just get it really well incorporated. Look at the beautiful color that it is. And it's going to be a rather liquidy mixture, so don't worry about that. What I'm going to do now, also what I like to do when I'm baking, I take everything out so we don't forget anything or double think, did I put that or not? So here goes just 1 teaspoon of the cinnamon, and I'll tell you why. I'm sorry, 1/4 teaspoon, even a little less, because we in the wheat, so that already gave it a lot of flavor. And the pastiera doesn't need to be dark. And here's the vanilla. And now I'm going to add the Fior d'Arancio essence. Be careful, this is glass. Some just have a snap off. I'm going to add 2. There goes the first one. And there goes the second. Mix everything again. The orange zest, the zest of a full orange. There it goes, the wheat goes in. What I wanted to say is that pastiera is an Easter dessert, and it's linked to the religion, and also all the flavors in it are spring flavors. The fresh wheat, the ricotta, the orange, the Fior d'Arancio essence, all an explosion of spring flavors, and that's what it is. So now what I'm going to do is, I gotta share this with you. During Easter in Italy, everybody makes pastiera. You can literally walk up and down the street and smell the pastiera baking in the homes. And what happens on Easter, they're usually made on Good Thursday, and they do not get eaten till Easter Sunday. And I remember that everybody would bring pastiera to my nonna. She would make them and give them away. And then on Easter Sunday, after a wonderful lunch, we would sit around and open up 3-4 pastieras, and it would be almost a competition. Questa è buona, questa non è troppo buona, questa è più buona, quella ha messo troppo ricotta, this one put too little ricotta, oh, troppo fior d'aranci, that's a big thing, you know. Too much essence rovina la pastiera. So these are all wonderful memories I want to pass on to my children and to you all watching. Good memories, and I'm sure you could relate to a lot of them. Talking, come closer. I want to show you what it needs to look like. Look at this. You might think it's too liquidy. It's not. It's the perfect consistency, and you'll see how it will come together beautifully. Okay, here's the pasta frolla. We have extra flour for dusting, okay? And just let's get the dough. It's still a little hard from the fridge, but that's okay. Just the warmth of your hands will make it lavorabile in no time. It's gonna be workable in no time. Make a circle and let's roll it out. What you do is roll one side, right? Then kind of flip it, sprinkle a little bit of the flour so it avoids sticking on your work surface, okay? Otherwise it could be very stressful. Again, just a little bit of the flour and just try to go in a circle. As it gets, as you stretch it further, again, just a little bit of the flour. Do this, roll it, and flip it on the other side. Okay, che dici? Grande abbastanza? I think so, it's large enough. So, let's get the first vassoio, ecco qui. You layer right on top. All right, now give it space inside. Dagli spazio. I translate straight from the Italian, but sometimes in English it makes no sense. So you just want to give in the dough, okay, like this, and then with a sharp knife we're going to trim it. The wonderful thing about this dough, it's very forgiving. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this on a side for the top strips and move on to the next plate. Here's the last one. Also, if the camera comes closer, I want to show you the thickness that it needs to be. Okay, take a look at that. See that? See? And it's perfect. It's making 3 pastiera. I like the Pyrex plate because I could see how it cooks evenly at the bottom. One time I used aluminum tins, and what happened was it doesn't absorb heat and the inside was raw. So that's another mistake I've made and I don't want you to make. So the best thing would be these Pyrex pie plate. They warm up nicely and it gives it a beautiful even cooking even underneath it. And I'll show you later when we take them out of the oven. So one final ingredient is citron. You could also use little orange peel skin cut small, but I like the little citron. And I buy it like this right in the supermarket or the Italian novelty store. If you buy it from one year to another, you could store it in your freezer and it keeps well for months. And I like it cut very small so it almost melts in the pastiera. So let's give it a good mix and then we're gonna start filling the pie and make the strips. We filled 3 of them beautifully. Let's be even. By the way, anybody interested? This is a Le Creuset ladle with a soft front, so you could use it almost like a spatula, and I love it. Okay, done. Let's get the strips on. Let's get the strips cut. I'm gonna go this way. Start the first strip in the middle, just cut it off. Here, another one here at the bottom. This is too small to put right there, so. And there it goes. Another one. And then across, we're going to lay these ones like this. A little bit better. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put a thin one right here. Tradition says that it should have 7 strips. So as much as I try to ignore it, I try at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'll get 7 strips on. Now what you're going to do is Just pinch the side all around. This is the part my sister-in-law loves to come and snap the border, but she's right, it is the most delicious part of the pastiera. Ready for the oven. Okay, I want to show you, look how little I have left. So the recipe for 3 pastiera is just perfect. I'm going to get them in the oven 350 for at least 1 hour. I'll see you back in an hour. Let's look straight in the oven. It's been an hour in. Take a look, okay? All right, they still need cooking. They need to be golden. So back in and let's keep an eye on them. An hour and 45 minutes they baked in total. I want you to come closer and take a look at the bottom. This is still very hot. And I also want to show you the top. You see that wetness around the border? That determines that the pastiera is nice and juicy and just delicious the way it needs to be. Now, we cannot open them now because it's not right. You're not gonna get the right flavor. They need to sit just at least a couple of days. Again, we make them on Holy Thursday and they get eaten on Easter Sunday. We're a couple weeks before Easter. I don't think these are gonna make. I'll be making them quite a few more times. Anyway, be safe. Let's keep cooking together. Grazie. Thank you for watching. Arrivederci. Alla prossima. Ciao, ciao.